Greetings. This is Rick Powers for Western Technical College, coming to you from my home office for the Math with Business Applications course, Introduction week number 7. So this week is finishing up the discussion of invoices. And as was mentioned earlier, an invoice generally is going from a wholesale company to a retail company, where you have the list price retail, then you subtract, you give a discount, the trade discount, so that the retail company can pay less and then sell it for more. And the difference between the buying and the selling, that difference is where their business exists. They exist by charging a difference. They buy it low, they sell it high. Okay, so then there's another situation that happens, and that is that in the process of time, when you think about how much time it takes, I used to work for a wholesale company, and when I would walk in the door, I would see these big printing presses that would be printing letterheads and also business cards. We did that too. And so then you have all of these machines that are running, you have all these people that are involved in making these products. And so then the wholesale company, they have to put that investment in before they can sell the product to the retailer. And so for the wholesale company, it's good if they can get their money a little bit ahead of time. So a lot of times what they will do is that they will give what's called a cash discount. So that if you pay before the due date, then you will get a discount based on a certain percentage. So for example, if we were to produce letterhead and then send it off to an Office Depot or something, and we say, okay, you have 60 days to sell that to your customer and then give us our money. Well, 60 days is a relatively long time, right? That our company would wait for their money. So then we would say something like, if you pay within 10 days, we'll give you a discount. And so then that's the idea of the cash discount. Now, for the retail person then, if they have the money to pay early, before they might even actually sell the item, they would have enough money on hand to pay their bills early. Then that is good for them. And it's almost like an investment where they're making like a 2% return in 2 weeks, which is a huge amount of return when you think about an investment. So my daughter used to work in accounting for an electrical company, and she said that's really a way for them to use their money wisely, is paying their bills early so that they can get that cash discount. So then there's mathematics involved, of course, in doing that. And so then there's a description of that for this week. And there are many complicated ways for different companies to decide when is a realistic time for them to get paid. Sometimes end of month, because it's reasonable for a business to not always be thinking about their bills all the time, but maybe at the end of the month, they'll settle up with everybody. And so then that's another way to do it. There are other methods depending on when the items are received and all this other stuff. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to use the idea of what's called ordinary dating, which depends on the date of the invoice. Most of the time what happens is that when the wholesale company produces the item and it's done and it's out the door, that's the invoice date. And then from that point on, they start counting the days of when they expect their payment to be done. And then shipping is an issue and all that stuff. And we don't have the ability to get into all those details, but it does happen. And so then there's a discussion of that. And then there are so many other complications involved with that in terms of people who don't pay their bills on time. What kind of a penalty might they have? And then you might have a situation where they get taken to collection if they don't pay their bills. And it's all about a trust relationship that's built up between businesses. And again, as you go further into your business connections in your life, you might run into some of those kinds of things. But then we have a major topic, and that is the idea of markup. One way that we've been doing in this previous section was we talked about getting a trade discount. I'm going to, say I'm Best Buy, I'm going to sell a television. I sell it for list price, but I bought it at a discount, a trade discount. That's one way to think about it. But then there are a lot of other terms that are used, that people talk about things in a different way. They say, okay, let's think about how much it cost Best Buy. Let's say they bought it for $300 and they sell it for $500. So there's a difference there. There's a $200 difference. What do you call that? You could call it a trade discount, or you could call it markup. So you started with $300, that's how much it cost, and then you mark it up the $200, and then you have the selling price, which would be the $500. So then these numbers have different names now in this next section, where we talk about the retail price is the selling price, the wholesale price is the cost, the difference between the two is the markup. Okay, so far, maybe. But then it gets even more complicated, because then you say, we want to have a standard measurement of how much to mark something up. So then it's as a percent. Well, depending on the industry and depending on the viewpoint of the person, they might have a percent of markup based on cost, or they might have a percent markup based on the selling price. So in the example that I was showing you, is the $200 a certain percent of the 300, or is the $200 a certain percent of the 500? Well, it could be percent markup based on cost or percent markup based on selling price. And there are a lot of formulas. There's like 9 different formulas for different situations that go into that whole process. And so there's a couple of videos out there, and there's also videos from the textbook publisher. When you're working through the homework, there should be a watch it button that you can click on, and it'll actually take you through and show you how to do the problems. And of course, there's notes out there as well. And I did post some videos from Southwest Tech that have a teacher going through certain problems and examples, but they do more in those videos than what we're going to do in our class. So you just got to be careful. Don't try to take it all in, but look at what you've been assigned to do and look at what the video is going through in terms of the examples, and hopefully that will work out. Make sense? But yes, this is a really important perspective to have in the mathematics of business, the difference between the retail cost of something and the wholesale cost. And if you are going to be in business, whether you're going to be a consultant or anything else, you're going to have to consider what those percentages mean and how they might relate to your situation. So it's a lot of vocabulary, it's a lot of connection between what does the word mean and how is it used and how does it go into a situation so that you can understand the relationship between the buying and the selling. Certainly, if you have questions, feel free to let me know. Also, learner support is available. Julia is available in the Online Math Center. And these are people that you can have a conversation with. It's not just, oh, well, here, send them a question, they'll try to answer it. But you can actually have like a video conversation with them or a phone call That's what they're there to do. And certainly, as it turns out, so am I. Okay, I'm here to help you. And if you have a question, please feel free to connect with me and also with those other people. All right, so best wishes for this week. And again, let me know if you have any questions.